business owners who redefine success, who invest in people, who give back to their community, are not simply business owners. They are SD Metro Business Rockstars.
Welcome to SD Metro Business Rockstars. My name is Florentino Buenaventura. I'm the host today for the show, and we've got a great one. We've got a great host. Actually, you've been on this side of the chair more often than not, right? We have, I'm going to have to look at your last name again, Shawn.
Walchef.
Walchef.
Yes.
Okay, I had to think about that.
It's all right. It's
Bulgarian. I knew
no
it
worries.
was chef at the end because you're in the
We're in the barbecue business, but I'm not a chef.
Yeah.
I leave it to the professionals.
Well, that's it. So kind of kicking that off, Shawn is the rock star entrepreneur because you are tackling multiple areas, multiple disciplines within your business. As you mentioned, you have Cali Comfort Barbecue or Cali BBQ as your restaurant out in Spring Valley here in San Diego, California. And then you also own a media business and you do content marketing as well. And you teach restaurants predominantly, but you also span into small businesses and medium-sized businesses how to better position themselves in this new digital age.
Yep.
Is that all correct?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think about our journey. We opened in 2008 at the height of the economic recession, and everyone we talked to said, do not open up a business, do not open up a restaurant, and certainly do not open up where we opened up, which was Spring Valley. And that decision to open up at that difficult time ultimately became something that was very valuable because we failed. We failed miserably in the restaurant business, we failed with marketing, we failed with branding.
Best teacher.
But because we failed, we tried so many different things to get people to care about who we are and what we were doing. And, we took over a breakfast concept, we turned it into a barbecue concept, but really, because of the smartphone, June 29th, 2007, the reason why I know that date is because my son was born 10 years later, June 29th, 2017. And I was in the hospital with my wife. I just had my firstborn son. I was, tearing up and just going through all these emotions, and there was some downtime, and I started looking on my phone, Googling what significant in history has happened on June 29th. And I looked back, and it was June 29th, 2007 is when the first iPhone came out. Yeah. And the reason why that's significant to our story, obviously my son being born 10 years later, but we relied on the iPhone. We relied on the business owners already know how to tell their story. They've done it in real life.
True.
They have already convinced their significant other. They have already convinced the bank. They have convinced investors. They have convinced the community to come and buy whatever product or service they're selling. What people haven't understood is that what social media is, it's just telling the internet the same story. Yeah. And now with video, with apps like TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, the internet wants video. Yeah. And the more that we can start to convince business owners that no one's going to come tell their story. You know how long I waited in Spring Valley for someone, the newspaper to come, the local news, the radio? I wanted them to come and talk about how great our business was. Guess what? No one's coming. No one came. We had to start telling our own story. And once we started doing that, we started getting all those opportunities that we wish we had in the past. Now we get them. Now we get contacted by every news station in San Diego, radio stations. We have all this incredible opportunity to share our story because we've gotten better at it.
I've seen you guys on KSI a number of times, radio. It's amazing because the first rule of business, especially if it's a restaurant, is location, location, location.
We've heard that many times, yeah.
And you buck that trend, right?
Yes.
So you did that through the use of social media and helping to establish your brand through reaching out to people on social media and other platforms versus having the neighborhood be the driver. In fact, I just went out there myself. I came from Rancho Penasquitos, drove all the way to Spring Valley. I think it's 20 miles or so. I can't remember, guys. It's San Diego. And you know, it was almost a little bit of a residential neighborhood. Yep. The food was amazing. I'm going to be headed back many times with my wife. And I say that because, your outreach moves people. And that's why you're a business rock star. And that's why, I'm gonna do a little, you're going to be $5 after this.
There you go.
Do
That's
some
cool.
Promotion. In the La Mesa Village from Local Umbrella Media, one of our partners, you were, and that's how we got to know you. You were featured in there, and this is another form of content marketing. Obviously, you didn't do this. The newspaper, the publishers, and the editors reached out to you for this, but it's content about your company. So, print is another way to go. And I think that this is important for us to establish that. And there's your great pitch. You want to, I guess you can't really zoom in on that, but it's a fun article. It's a great read. If you folks are in La Mesa, pick this up. Pick this up at one of your local convenience stores.
Well, I really appreciate that, and obviously getting featured in Local Umbrella Media is very important for us. We talk to business owners all the time about storytelling and digital storytelling, but print media is also important too. A funny story about that actual article is, I've talked to many people that are in the media, many people that are on news, many people that are on the radio, and we, like you said, we're very fortunate to go to KUSI, NBC, Fox 5, and we have these news appearances. But always before the news appearance, my team and I will go live on Instagram, we'll go live on Facebook, we'll send out a tweet, we'll make a TikTok video. So we're always creating content about the content. And by doing that, more people find out that we were on the news than actually are watching the CBS evening news that see our news segment, because we're repurposing that story. And once that came out, I made a video. I posted it on Instagram, posted it on Facebook, made a TikTok video, and my wife's from Bulgaria. Her family's from Bulgaria. Her mom and dad live in the village. They follow us on Facebook, they follow us on Instagram, and a lot of people in the village follow us.
Yeah.
They were so proud to see me, their son-in-law, in the news, on the front page of the newspaper, because it's credibility.
Yeah.
That's the credibility of storytelling. When you go from the digital side to the print side to the in real life, now you've touched on all points of credibility and you move people. You go, well, I've heard about it, I've seen it, I saw it on the news, but now I want to go try it. Is that barbecue really that good?
Yeah. And, with that said, have you found tourism because your outreach is national, international? Have you found that tourism reaches your establishment there?
It's amazing. It's not a driving factor, but it's a storytelling factor.
Yeah.
So because we have a podcast called Digital Hospitality, we just launched our second podcast called Restaurant Influencers. Yeah. That is in conjunction with Entrepreneur Magazine and Yelp. The fact that a restaurant that opened up in Spring Valley in a very difficult time is now literally producing a podcast with Entrepreneur Magazine and Yelp is something that I have to pinch myself. But we're producing both of these podcasts, and that goes to anyone that has the internet. So literally anyone in the world that has the internet, that has Apple Podcasts, that has Spotify, that has Pandora, that can go online, can listen, can watch our content. And we have people all over the world that are in the restaurant business that follow us. Yeah. So when they come to San Diego, guess where they come? They send me a message, they send me a DM on Instagram, and they go, Shawn, we're coming to see you. We listen to the podcast. So it's like, it's not a driving factor. Like, that's not going to keep us in business.
Yeah.
But it's very cool to have people that are so connected to our story that it's impacting them wherever they are in the world.
And I think it's important to note that you don't do these for a direct response. You do these to build a connection, an audience, which is the most important thing with any business. Have your tribe of people that come to you and use your services or buy your products, and they become your evangelists. And as you're doing this, it's more of an outreach. I think a lot of businesses fail to realize you can make really cool content. Like you were mentioning before, you were doing a lot of sports content that isn't saying, hey, come have my ribs.
Correct.
Yeah. Why do you think that's important?
So, I think what's important, back to every person has a story.
Yeah.
No matter what business you're in, you have a story. And most people think of marketing and advertising as creating a commercial about themselves. Everyone wants this beautiful 30-second commercial that goes during the Super Bowl, right? $6 million, highly produced commercial that sells all kinds of whatever you're selling.
Yeah.
Well, that's not the way the world works.
No, it doesn't.
The way the world works is we all sell stories every single day. Every single day we're selling a story to our wives, to our husbands, to our significant others, to our employees, to the people that are going to work for us. Why should you come and work for us? I mean, I made a video for Instagram and TikTok at the airport with a sign that says Cali BBQ is hiring. Like, it's a joke that I'm there with a sign that says Cali BBQ is hiring. And when the plane comes, I'm holding up the sign as if I'm trying to recruit somebody. But digitally, that's an image.
Yeah.
That's telling a business owner is willing to do whatever it takes to get someone to come and work for him. And that works on social media.
And then it plays off the trending news that it's hard for businesses to attract.
That is correct.
Employees. So that's the kind of creativity that I think these businesses need. I think one of the challenges, and maybe as you're dealing with small businesses, is that they're not recognizing what content marketing is, because we come from, at least in our age groups, we come from the day of the 30-second advertising.
Correct.
Yeah, or advertisement. That's not the case today.
Correct.
Do you still find using traditional media in that form, or do you think that really is not relevant for what your audiences and your clients
So I think all media is important, because I believe all storytelling is important. I mean, my grandfather was born in a village in Bulgaria in 1919. He was born to be a farm boy. He got out of Bulgaria because he read every single book in the village, and there was somebody there that inspired him to want to learn more, to chase his curiosity, and became a medical doctor, moved our family over here. He raised me. I never met my father. He taught me the value of story. I spent 3 years writing his autobiography with him, helping him self-produce his book, translating that book into Bulgarian. So literally the library where he was reading now has his book in his village. Like, that's the power of story. And the power of story is that every single person has a story. Your father has a story, your mother has a story, your grandparents have a story. But we've never had a way to capture that story in a way that was as affordable as what we have in our pocket. Every single person in their pocket has the technology through their smartphone to record the audio, record the video, use words and use images to share their family story, the story of their business, and that connects people all over the world.
Canva, so I'm with you 100% on all of that. Let's kind of go back a little bit to the restaurant. I keep thinking back to my ribs, man. Wow. When did you decide to change from breakfast to barbecue, and why did you do that?
So we took over an existing breakfast business. We wanted to add dinner, and we wanted to make it a sports entertainment destination. We had this idea that people from all over San Diego County, 3.3 million people, we would create something so cool that on NFL Sunday, for great breakfast, people would come and bring their family. So not just the guys coming to have breakfast, but it was a great place for mom, it was a great place for grandma, it was a great place for the kids. So we built the sports entertainment destination. We put dinner in a place where people said, you can't have a great dinner, it's not a good neighborhood, people aren't going to come out. And when we did that, one of our founding principles was that we were going to always give back. It was so important for us to give back to those who are less fortunate. And anyone that's in restaurants, anyone that's in hospitality, if you're a small business owner, people reach out all the time. The more that you give back, the more that you get. And for us, we had so many youth sports where kids couldn't afford to play sports, they couldn't afford uniforms, they couldn't afford equipment, asking us for money. And we said, absolutely. It was always a yes. But it got to the point where we were saying so many yeses that we said, can't we do this better? Why can't we do an annual event and bring other businesses involved and do something cool in Spring Valley that hadn't been done? And we threw around some ideas, and the best idea was to put on an amateur barbecue contest. Everyone's like, that sounds great. Like, okay, well, who knows how to do it? Nobody knows how to do it. So I did what anybody does, and I went to Google and said, how do you put on an amateur barbecue contest? And that sent me to Kansas City Barbecue Society, which essentially is the NFL of sanctioning and professional barbecue contests. And they gave me a list of 3 names. One of the guys, Gene Goycochea, he came out to the restaurant and said, if you're doing this for charity for kids, I'll help you organize the event. He spent hundreds of hours with me and my business partner at the time organizing the event. And then afterwards, he's like, if you want to add barbecue to your menu, I'll teach you. He had spent his whole life in professional barbecue, competing at all the biggest events in California, all across the country, organizing professional barbecue contests and was like, you know, this will be something different for our menu that we don't have. If you do craft barbecue, you've got to do it the right way, because there's so many people from all the barbecue meccas of the United States that, you know, if you're not cooking great barbecue and someone from Texas comes in, they're going to judge you. Someone from Kansas City comes in, they're going to judge us. Memphis,
you
name it.
I was just going to say Memphis.
You name it, they're going to judge us. So if you're going to do it, you better do it right.
Yeah.
And we learned the craft of barbecue, low and slow, cooking it the right way, buying the highest quality meats, using the best seasonings. And if we didn't have great barbecue, we wouldn't be having the conversation. Like, you have to have great product. We have phenomenal barbecue. You have to have phenomenal hospitality. That's how you make people feel.
Yeah, I was reading a little bit where you were saying that you were trying to use automated services, and then eventually you realized you needed to have somebody as a host.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, so when we first started, there's a sign, and most people that have been to a restaurant, there's a time where you see this sign and it says, please seat yourself. And then on the other side of the sign is, please wait to be seated. Yeah. And like, this is a prop that restaurant owners use to reduce labor cost, because they don't want to pay to have a host at the front of the restaurant. Yeah. So please seat yourself. You go over there and you're like, okay, great. I'm going to go, please seat myself. This is fantastic. And you go and you sit down anywhere you want in the restaurant, and what do you get? You get the worst service. Yeah. So what we decided to do early on was, we're going to remove that sign and we're going to invest in hospitality and always pay to have a host at the front of the restaurant. Yeah, so no matter what. When I went there, so once we did that, everything changed for us, because now we started taking care of people. We started making memorable moments. When somebody opened the door, there was somebody smiling to greet them. When somebody called, there was somebody smiling to say hello. When somebody left, we thanked them. If somebody came in with a wheelchair, we could open up the door. You know, it's all those little things, but that investment in people, humanity, hospitality, that made all the difference. That's awesome. Well, I'm going to close this out with one last question for you. What is your number one, if you do anything, recommendation for the small business owner to do to make sure and ensure that they're going to always be successful at what they do? That's a great question. So what I'm recommending now, which is going to be very uncomfortable for anybody that's listening, you only grow when you're uncomfortable. That's where the most growth happens. Yeah. To get uncomfortable is to get onto TikTok right now. I'm with you on that. We've lightly touched on TikTok. Don't lightly touch. Go all in on TikTok. And don't worry about the name TikTok. Don't worry about it being a dancing app. Don't worry about it being a young app. TikTok is a short form video app. Yeah. So it starts to teach you the power of short form video marketing, content marketing, telling your story. 15 seconds, 30 seconds, start understanding that as a small business owner, we're Cali BBQ Media. So we're a barbecue business and a media business. We believe that every single business owner is a media business. Exactly. Once you start acting like a media business, once you start producing content, once you start doing short form video marketing, everything changes. And all those times that you want someone else to come in and tell your story, they're going to actually start coming because they're going to see your video. Yeah, that is awesome. That is awesome. Well, Shawn, appreciate you being here. Folks, this is the reason why this man here is a SD Metro business rock star. As you can see here, we brought the music in for you. I love it. I appreciate that. Because in every business owner, there's music, and you want to have harmony throughout your business, right, folks? So I'm glad you've been our first guest. I'm glad that we were able to have the rock star on the cover of this magazine here. Commitment to excellence, folks, and commitment to always, giving back to the community. So with that said, thank you, Shawn. Thank you. This has been another SD Metro Business Rockstars. I had to think about that for a second. We'll see you on the next one. Stay tuned.